Okay. Is that supposed to be upside down or is that me?
What's upside down?
Okay.
I don't know what you're saying.
I'm seeing a mirror of your live from the Mighty Veedverks backwards. Like
I don't know how to fix that.
sort of like how you say Illuminati style. Illuminati style. I mean,
Illuminati, I love that.
I knew it. I said that for you, Eli. See, it's backwards.
I'm playing Dub Conscious in the background. Adrian Zelski, HGHC Company, International Hemp Exchange. Thanks for not suing us. Live from the Mighty Veedverks Airship, I'm Travis Lippert, CEO of Verks Unlimited Limited, better known as Veedverks. And give me a second, and then now.
Hi, I'm Julie Richardson. I'm the marketing director for Colorado Normal.
Outstanding. Today, we have very special guests, Elyse Gordon-Holtz and Eli Katz from Rescue Soup. And I'm saying that to kill time while I find that audio and turn it down. Oh, it's so much more difficult to do all this stuff remotely. But there we go. So let's see. Have I transitioned over? All right, so let me bring you guys up. Boom. All right. So we've got Julie, and we've got Elyse, and we've got Eli.
Yes.
Yay, this worked out well.
All right. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Julie, could you update us on your health, because a lot of people are wondering about.
Oh yeah, well I'm on the fulvestrant, and I'm not doing so well on it. One of the side effects is musculoskeletal pain, and since I already have peripheral polyneuropathy, I lovingly call my not MS. I'm back in my braces. I'm back to using my cane. It's just flared all of that over the top. And I'm having to make the decision to either, there's a next step that the doctors have been trying to get me ready for. And I'm there, but it's a dangerous step with this virus. If I take this medicine, it will make me have to go into super isolation, more than what I'm doing now, and I'm pretty isolated now, but it's very risky, and I'm already having so many side effects. The nurse told me last week, she said, we've only read about people like you. So that's not really comforting, but my body aches so bad, and I'm in just constant pain. And I signed up for all sorts of different grants and programs, and what I'm needing is massage therapy and IV therapy and acupuncture. But right now with the COVID, I can't go get any of that. So my alternative is, why don't you try muscle relaxers and Oxy again? No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That's going to make it worse. So, yeah. I don't know. I've got tough decisions to make.
Yeah.
And if I go completely isolated, that means I start a GoFundMe, because that means I cannot work and be out in the public at all.
When will you have to do that by?
For you.
Sorry, I'm not being a very good host right now, because I'm hearing that, and that's breaking my heart. So I'm processing it as you're saying it.
And that's okay. It really is okay. I've had this conversation with several of my friends, and so many times they've just looked back at me and they've said, I am not having this conversation with you. How can I be sitting here looking at you? And we've been laughing and talking, and then now you're telling me you have metastatic breast cancer. How is this possible? And my poor friends are in shock, absolute shock.
Yeah.
And, but I do need to shout out this. I am so ridiculously loved. My fridge is full. I have dog food. People even buy me bird food for the bird. Yesterday, Christine Bedrosian with Flora, she went to Costco and got me, just pantry items. And
That's florasmercantile.com.
Yeah.
florasmercantile.com.
And
Sorry.
then the owner of Ozone, Chris Morewood, she, is every week. And I gotta kind of tell y'all something funny. She brings me just a variety of different things, like I needed some butter and some eggs. And she brought me some soup and some bread and cheese and what have you. And she had this one bag that had a paper bag on the inside. And I was tired. I had just had the treatment and I just felt so bad. And the lights weren't really on. And I looked at that bag and I saw greenery in the bottom. And I went, oh, bless her heart. Y'all, I sat down to roll it and it was chamomile tea. And I'm like, I looked at these little yellow flowers and I'm like, that looks awfully odd. So I turned on the lights. I was rolling me up some tea.
Did you smoke it?
I'm all right. I'm still a nut.
Did you smoke it? No? I haven't tried that.
Exactly. That'd be an interesting test. Did you smoke it?
Might as well, right? All bets are off.
Some of it's subliminal, it'd help it along.
Yeah.
Right, but I do feel better now that they took 844 cc's of fluid off my lung.
Damn.
And and no wonder I was feeling so bad and passing out on y'all. But since then, it doesn't seem to be coming back. I've been doing a lot of Tai Chi, a lot of breathing exercises. I'm literally getting my exercise ball and hanging upside down and doing breathing exercises. And it seems to be working. There wasn't any fluid the last time I was checked.
Good.
That's good.
So have you eaten any rescue soup? Have you had
Yes.
any? Have you?
I was one of the first recipients.
Tell me.
Nice.
So let's talk about rescue soup. Number one, let's talk
delicious.
about Elyse and Eli and just tell people quickly who they are. I can do Elyse, and with her help, and Eli, you're going to have to help me more. But
All right.
Elyse
Eli,
started.
you go. You're
What?
I'll let Eli chat it up.
Yeah.
A minute.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what I know about Elyse is that she is awesome. I've known her. She's one of the people who I've known in a meaningful way the longest in the cannabis industry. Known her since 2014, I believe. And she got into the industry in, 2008?
Yeah, late 8. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, late 2008 was one of the first MIPs or MIPs, marijuana-infused processors in the state, and therefore in the entire country, that was legally making edibles, THC-infused edibles, with her. And let's see, that was the THC side, and then later started alongside that Nature's Essential Wellness, which sold CBD edibles, lots of awesome products and stuff. And then COVID and rescue soup. And then, so now Eli, tell us about yourself. Was any of that wrong?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
And late nights at the late night studio, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Elyse is absolutely one of the most awesome people that I've ever met in the space.
Yeah.
I started my nonprofit in 2017, and my nonprofit's the Zwisky Foundation. We fight caregiver burnout and compassion fatigue. And I met Elyse like I said, I met her in 2018, and then in 2019, she did some events with me as my Grill Master Gorgeous. And so we had already been talking, and then she joined my board. So,
Because I wanted to slow down.
What was that?
Because I wanted to slow down.
That's true.
Right.
So, yeah, she joined my board of directors. And then earlier this year, I was up in the mountains and took a turn for the worse. And she received me and made me some wonderful restorative soup.
At 3 a.m.
At 3 o'clock in the morning.
What was in it?
That'd be an IP giveaway, wouldn't it?
Is it menudo?
You know.
Is it corn chowder? Chicken noodle?
No.
Can't even tell us what kind? Soylent green soup?
It's on a base of chicken noodle.
Yeah.
The soul keeper.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure. And it kind of started right there as just a, Eli reference to it as rescue soup. And after a couple bowls, he was starting to feel better. And we kind of kicked it into gear in a nonchalant way of how it played into his foundation with caregivers and the compassion and the burnout and the fatigue and all the things that went with that. And it became a very good arm to his foundation. And, he can express some of the other arms of it, but the rescued soup did get a fast ramp up here because of COVID. But interestingly enough, Eli and I went back and forth with how can we reach out to the community to make this be a helpful thing. Now all these kids not getting lunches and breakfast from the schools and all the things that started getting cut back. And the reach out from the individuals was not strong enough right at first for me to not keep going, and I needed participants. So I called the hospitals, and they answered and said, "Hi, how may I help you?" And it became, "No, how may I help you?" And that's kind of where it also transitioned, because those frontliners needed a spot. And then it really goes back to the whole premise of Eli's foundation of taking care of burnout and how people can reach out to help, because it's not about just this COVID. This happened to be one arm of a situation that we were able to take care of because it reared its head now. But it doesn't end there. And we've had the news jump in. We had 303 Magazine jump in. We've had restaurants give us food that have jumped in, which we would love more to help them out, because that's been a really helpful arm. We have had a magnificent farm help us out since the beginning, Rebel Farm.
Farm.
That's just awesome greens that Julie was one of our first recipients of, these beautiful greens and organic. And
these are the ones that are normally being shipped to restaurants, right? Like
exactly right.
These are the fancy, like Ruth's Chris type of greens, except classier joints than Ruth's Chris.
That's right, and you would be honored. It's not shredded lettuce,
Yeah.
It's just goes from farm to your pot on your stove. That's how beautiful these are.
Yeah.
And so we were fortunate enough to work out a relationship with the farm and help them now maybe with a retail arm of where things are going to go that are different, to create maybe a produce subscription. And Eli, please jump in at any point to say anything. But, we want to not say it's ending with this program and everyone's going to get better and we're going to move on. We are going to move on and we are going to get better, but we're going to move on smarter with our whole food chain. It's opened up a new eye to waste of food throughout these communities, of what gets thrown out and why these restaurants even have to make the phone call. And I'm standing there like, but there's expiration on here for 3 more months. And why the health rules make them not be able to hand it out and have to sort a third party it to make it go to someone. it's ludicrous. It's insanity. It shouldn't be happening. And so this got some legs that I'm happy to drive, and it doesn't have to always just be soup. We're going into summer. I'm willing to branch out on, we can go to gazpacho. So it's nice and cool. So basically, that's kind of how rescue soup became a thing. And I sort of stepped out of the THC side at the end of the year, and my energy is going into education about cannabis and what it does and who should be using it and who should be not making rules about it. And the whole thing mushroomed into mushrooms, and then mushrooms where they've become. Ha ha! Imagine that. So there's a lot of farming going on. My brain's turning faster than a fungi. So, Eli caught me at a weak moment, but yet I keep insisting I'm not going totally in deep. I'm going rogue first. So.
Oh yeah, she quits 100 times a week.
I'm sorry, what?
I said yes, she quits 100 times a week.
Yeah, so I'm kind of trying to debrief myself because I did step out. I was absolutely vacationing for the first time in 10 years, and now I'm only on a trip in Mexico virtually. So I don't know if that'll happen, so now I have to keep busy. And so I'd like it to lead to that, yes, we have a mushroom farm that's also twinned into this farm. And again, it goes back to this subscription, the excess what farmers may not be able to sell, but hopefully don't have to throw in the trash, that we can have these relationships of directly to the consumer. And they could buy a weekly package, and then it's given by all these different farmers. So this week we have potatoes and onions and these gorgeous greens, compliments of these wonderful farms that we can give and sell as subscriptions for people to get them delivered to their house. So there's a lot of things that can happen from this.
Wait, when you said mushrooms, you mean regular mushrooms. You don't mean Denver mushrooms.
Oyster mushrooms.
Oyster mushrooms.
They're all around, all-purpose mushrooms, from restaurants to stores to medical improvement.
I thought you were growing shrooms for about 2 minutes there. That's awesome. Eli,
weirder things have happened.
Can you say the name of your organization again, Eli?
Yes, it's Zwischki, ZWI. SKI.
ZWI.
Foundation.
SKI.
SKI. Correct. Foundation. Yes.
And caregiver burnout and compassion fatigue, are those the two things that you said?
That is correct, yes.
Can you talk, what are those? Caregiver burnout and compassion fatigue.
So caregiver burnout is the situation that occurs when you're facing we're familiar with burnout, and so the idea that you wind up using all your resources, and your caregivers are in a state of constant energy expenditure. They're always on the go, they're always fighting, and it just keeps getting more and more and more, and so they wind up really unable to start taking care of themselves. They stop doing the basics, their health declines, their attention to patients declines, patient outcomes decline, and so it's a really important condition to both recognize, educate the public about, as well as help carers. And a caregiver can be anybody who's from the doctor at the hospital to a parent caring for the child, or one of us caring for their parents. A caregiver can be anybody parents have. Compassion fatigue, on the other hand, is what we're seeing it now in people who don't think it's important to wear their masks outside. The issue stops being important. They stop following details, and quickly they don't have the ability to care about any other conditions except their own.
What about, we're sorry to get off on masks so quickly at least, but compassion fatigue. So if you're just like, you know what, I've been wearing my mask to the grocery store for 3 weeks now and nothing ever seems to change, and fuck it, we're all gonna open up anyway, and I'm just fucking done with this mask. Is that compassion fatigue?
That is very much compassion fatigue.
What's another example? I'm sorry, I'm learning this.
Sure. Compassion fatigue, another way of thinking about it would be, let's say that, at the end of the year, or at the end of the day, you've got a child who's got seizures, or a loved one who's got cancer, or God forbid, or Crohn's disease, or your parents who have dementia. You're dealing with that all day, and then a friend of yours calls to tell you about something horrible that just happened, and you just can't. It's just one more thing on top of that. So,
well, I'm really excited. I'm involved in a lot of patient organizations. I sit on the board of a couple of the cannabis ones. And, we hear this a lot. A lot of the times these are mothers that have one or two children with autism, and then other children that are trying to be mainstream, and it's overwhelming. Or we have the mothers with children with deadly forms of epilepsy. And then we have our cancer patients. I know if anybody was here taking care of me, they would dang sure be fatigued and tired of my grumping and groaning. And so it's a huge part of the illness, and we have several cannabis nurses, and one in particular I'm thinking of that works with hospice is Marcy Marr. And just amazing, and dealing with the families and the fatigue that goes along with all of that. So I'm super excited to have you on and use you as a resource, and then the fact that you joined in with another good friend of mine, and you guys are doing something so delicious as a soup and providing food, because being from the South Louisiana culture, food is love. And this is exactly what this is. This is love. You're delivering love in gallon-sized Ziploc bags.
And to me, it's really important because it does go a step further of, it's not like I don't know, people don't necessarily know my history. This isn't the first kind of care package I've jumped into. That's who I am. I love to cook, and food and music are two things that are the dearest things to my heart, next to family and dear friends. But they're reachable. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what your background is. Those are touchable things that are heart warmers for people. To see the joy to go, as I said yesterday, to go to these hospitals, and I said to them, I hope I don't have to do it for these reasons. And I also hope I don't have to keep crying every time I leave here. And as I left, I did a live that I haven't even posted, and I never do lives. And it really was just the emotions of, it's so important to reach out to people and help them instead of constantly tearing them down and jumping on, oh, so-and-so didn't do this and they're a piece of that. And we're already in a very hard time. We've been all through a very hard industry that there's no reason, if you need the need to tear down, then don't do anything. But if you want to build up and hand out and reach off and make things better, we can do that. This is the perfect time if we don't change and move forward. This is an action call if there ever was one. It's not about me in any way or Eli. It's about people who have heart and want to reach out with heart and make things better for people who certainly are not as well off as I am. Thank God I was fortunate, but I'm fortunate enough I want to share it. I can't do it all, spend it all, whatever the reasons are that people have. This has been quite a leveler for everybody, because it doesn't matter who you are, or what color you are, or what your background is. We're all in this at a state that we need to reach out and help people that are struggling to our best of our ability. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart to let me have airtime to say that I just want us all to make everything a better place. It's the only way we're going to get through this.
Now, Elyse, you have a wish list. We are working on finding you a commercial kitchen. We need volunteers to help with the cooking. I got so tickled with you, and I watched that interview where you said you weren't going to be the superintendent. So, how do people get in touch with you and organize? If they have a commercial kitchen, they may want to donate time or what have you. How do they get in touch with you with that? Just on the website is the best way? And how are you going to organize that in this crazy times we have?
In these uncertain times. How?
I'm so sick
In
of
these
that.
uncertain and
These are certain times. They are certain
what's
times.
the other word they use?
Certainly get your butt in gear and be doing something positive to go forward. I don't know. I see a lot of positive from what's happening, as bad as it is. Things are, make us sick. Flus are bad. All these things are bad, but how do we take away good? If we go back to doing exactly what we were doing, we won't even be here. That's what it has told me. And I know I need to make changes, and I'm, not anywhere near perfect, but I do know in my heart I have to help people when there's down times. I like to help them when there's up times. I like to participate when there's up times, So I want to see us get back to the norm of enjoying each other's company on a pleasant level. And I think this is a really good way to scale up for everybody. So they can go to our site, rescuesoup.net, and there is a link there, like a tab, that they can click on for how to support us, how to go to frequently asked questions, so that whatever they're interested in doing, I don't want people to shy away because it's all about money all the time. If you have sources or names or things, of course, dollars, you betcha, send them, okay? But I want people to be involved because it comes from what they can do to help. You're not less worthy because you only can drive your car to pick up something. That's really important. That's what we need. And that's what we tell people. Okay, good. So we're open to suggestions of what people think can be a road forward. And Eli, if you want to add anything to that, please do.
Sure. One of the ways that people can support us is if you shop on Amazon, shopping from smile.amazon.com. If you select Zwisky Foundation as your recipient, we will get 0.5% of your purchase. So you don't have to do anything different.
Wow.
So
Smile.amazon.
People shopping on Amazon right now. That's a good way to get a little extra.
Amazon's going on strike on Monday, I think.
Are they?
That's what I heard.
Not
no,
yet.
Wait. Not Monday. I'm sorry, Friday.
Why?
Huh? Because they're pissed off about being forced to work with no extra pay and no face masks and stuff, and they're just like, you know what? They're going to shut it down on Friday and not ship anything and see what Amazon thinks about it. At least that's what I heard.
Do they have a lot of cases?
Some of their distribution centers do. Especially that one in New York had several dozen cases, I think. And so there's going to be I don't know. I mean, we all get our news from the internet, and the part of the internet that I looked at today leads me to believe that Amazon workers are going to strike this Friday and just not ship anything on Friday and be like, fuck y'all. Let's see what happens.
That's probably why I won't get my son's birthday present till May 7th.
Are they already predicting the strike?
I guess they must have, because it's like, really? It should have been efficient. Right as soon as I hung up, if they were knocking on his door, that it's there. So, I've lost a week.
Maybe it won't happen. I still don't know if Kim Jong is undead or if Kim Jong-un is dead.
Undead or de-dead.
Kim Jong undead.
Yeah, that's been a good kept secret.
I'm waiting to find out. You can't bet on it.
They did the same thing. They kept it secret for several weeks.
When who passed?
When his father passed, didn't they do the same thing?
Well, I don't know. Well, actually, I think I read that they delayed the news by 4 days. So, but this guy hasn't been seen since May 14th. Or what month is it? No. Is it April?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so March.
Barely, we're like on
April
the 10th.
Since April 14th. What is today? April 20.
April
29th.
It's my track. I know that. Like Wednesday.
2 weeks and a day is the last time that anybody saw him. And when Kim Il-sung, was that the first? Whatever Kim Jong-un's dad's name was.
One-
Kim Il Sung.
I'm not going to make any jokes because I'm already in
Yeah,
trouble today.
don't get us canceled.
Already
We're
got
doing a good show right now. Don't say anything.
down.
But yeah, I think it was a 4-day delay with him. But that's neither here nor there. Just something to talk about besides the Tiger King.
I'm
Or the-
afraid to watch it.
happened-
Is there any animal abuse in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened to the corgis?
I
didn't
I was
bring it
part of
up.
this Facebook group called Disapproving Corgis. I've had Welsh Corgis as my only breed of dog I've ever had since I was in 5th grade. I've had 4 Corgis now, and I'm a big Welsh Corgi fan. And somebody posted in this group, this cop posted in this group, him all dressed up in like tactical gear, holding his Corgi who's in tactical gear, and it's a fucking drug dog. They turned a corgi into a narc. And so I posted my thoughts on that, and the admin of the group deleted my thoughts and then closed comments on it because people had already started saying, yeah, man, corgi narcs. We don't narc corgis. That's not right. You got to draw the line somewhere. And so I left the group. It was kind of sad, but that's what happened. Narc corgis. That's just not. You can't do that. You can't make narc corgis. It's bullshit. They need to look like they're German, not Welsh.
They need taller dogs that are at least as high as the luggage.
Yeah.
You know, like some menacing look.
I
Right.
was.
They're just too cute to be narc dogs.
I know, and they're too cool. Like they're.
Aren't they like I've never had one, but aren't they like really like funny little dogs? They always do crazy crap.
I don't know. Like I said, my only experience with dogs really is corgis my whole life. They seem pretty funny to me. They definitely don't seem like the type of dog that you should turn into a narc when it could have been just a regular dog. Seems like a waste, and it's just uncool. And I was even thinking like,
Well, narcs are uncool, even if they're not dogs.
yeah, exactly. But
So it's not fair to make dogs do that.
don't you?
They should have cats do that.
Yeah,
They should have
Narc
cats
cats.
just all over the luggage and make people mad because, you know, cats just, that's what they do. And they jump up and they walk all over the luggage and then they go, yep, bag number 3 for sure.
yeah.
Some Siamese cat. Take it.
We were about face masks again. Here's one thing about COVID that I think is an improvement. Like a year ago, I was concerned about laws in this country that prohibited you from putting on a mask and gathering in large groups to protest something because I assume remains illegal in like Alabama and maybe California, like in several states, it's illegal to put on masks and go gather in large groups and protest stuff. And so now, if you're going to gather in large groups and go protest whatever, you know, global warming or something, they're going to be like, all right, you can protest, but y'all better put your masks on.
Well, there's a lot of oxymorons going on right now. I think one of my favorite ones that I just would like to mention, since you brought up interesting facts, is our essentials being marijuana is definitely an essential. So how does an essential be a Schedule 1 drug? I'm just asking. It just seems really strange that an essential would still be a Schedule 1 drug.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Well,
So
we have
I
2
think-
dispensaries now that are delivering, and Colorado Normal really needs everybody to reach out to us. Let us send you the Boulder ordinances, and let's push our elected officials into getting delivery going. Because, you know, just like me, If I go into this severe isolation, I'm going to need it delivered to me. And if I don't have delivery, one of my friends is going to have to go. So.
Right, which also kind of brings me to Eli, in our large picture of having a facility for people to go to on a membership basis where they can feel comfortable enough to be able to sit and do their medication and not feel like it's all about a bar and a drink, and those are the only things that are okay, that they can go in and take what they need and be in a comfortable atmosphere. And it's a getaway for the caregiver who never gets to get away, to go there, to have a massage, to have a haircut, to have an opportunity for music therapy. Those are spaces that we need to start creating, to where somebody can go and take a shower that maybe actually could have a job interview but has nowhere to clean up. So there's a lot of spaces, and I think we're going to see more spaces that are going to become available because we're going into a hard time, or rentals being a problem or whatever. And being that we're building like a wild frenzy maniacs here in this city, that space could be here, and it could be an incubation type of a program, but it is needed. And it's like the pebble in the pond. It will make people be stronger, feel better, go back to their situations and be able to take care of their patients or their whomever it is, their children, and move forward and get better and heal from the inside. And, I don't know. I just think that there is that. I really am into paper chains as a kid. I really like that concept of paper chains. And I know Eli's sick of hearing my paper chain thing, but I just think paper chains were just this thing. You kept adding the chains and they got longer. So everybody could be a link of a chain. You just do what you do best. You don't have to cook if you don't cook. You can be a driver. You can be a volunteer to send money. You can write a grant. I mean, there's all these things. You could volunteer just 4 hours of marketing a week because that's what you do. But these are the kind of programs that we have to move forward now to heal our country physically and mentally. So, I think that's what we should be doing.
I'm in favor of it.
I completely agree. And like I said, I can't wait to bring this into what else I'm doing as another option and an alternative. I mean, I know of 3 mothers right in this past week that are on caregiver overload. You can tell by their Facebook posts.
Right, and we want to reach out to them. Those are the important people to get the net under.
Well, so, I love being the connector. This is exciting.
Good, and I like to feed the connector.
Yes, and that's good medicine. Yes.
Mm-hmm. It is.
All right. So I'm going to set a rule right now. Nobody's allowed to think, oh, I'm not going to call Julie. She's got enough on her. That's bull. I'm not dead yet. You call me and ask me the things that need to be asked. And don't count me out yet. I'm still full of sass and vinegar. So,
yeah.
You know what you're not, though? You're not sending out friend requests to people.
No, I'm not.
If you're listening to this and all of a sudden Julie sends you a friend request and you're not already friends on Facebook, that's not Julie. If you don't see that if you're in the industry and you get a friend request from Julie and you don't see like 100 and something mutual friends already, that's not Julie. Delete it and report it. Report it to Facebook.
I think Facebook.
Dude, so they did it to. So they did it to Patty Zanine. Then they did it to Julie, and now there's some guy Artie. Shoot, you'd recognize him if you saw him. I can't remember his last name, but somebody's doing it to him today too. I got a fake friend request from Artie. He's a hemp guy, kind of Grover side. I can't remember his last name, but. It's like somebody's trying to infiltrate a certain group of, or maybe they're doing it to everybody. But those are 3 examples I know of where somebody is trying to spoof their account, like in the last.
Well, unfortunately, Facebook is like the good, bad, evil, bad. You know, it's like good to have, but there's a lot of negatives that it perpetrates, unfortunately, in the what could be positive actions. And again, I'm not the morality police, even though I've been accused. But at the end of the day, yeah, I don't think we have to pass judgment on people just because we have freedom of speech. We actually could say nice things, but that's just, again, my freedom of speech comment. So with that, I will just say, remember, soup is serving others under pressure, and that's what we do, and that's what we will continue to do, and we will take care of people who need things that we're fortunate enough to have, and we can pass on to those who do not. And
I really like the idea of food boxes. I've been trying to organize food boxes in Denver, oh gosh, for a year now, because I used to do food boxes. I would partner with the nonprofits and go pick up the food that they had left over, which basically same concept what you guys were talking about, except you're doing it with the farmers. And then we all met at my house, got it all sectioned out, and you know, we had people to deliver. And if, you know, I would love to get that going with you.
Absolutely. That's basically the kind of concept. And I think people will love it too, of being able to have it delivered to their door, and they control the amounts they want. And every week it's kind of sometimes even guessing of this week we got overloads in potatoes and onions, and, you know, first come, first serve. And next week we know we're getting access to whatever some farmer maybe has to move along, or a restaurant even had to move along. So right. Absolutely. I think it's a great idea. I'm very excited. I don't want to be excited, but I am. Shh, don't tell Eli.
All right, I won't tell Eli.
Okay, good. So,
no, go ahead.
Yes. No, I just was going to thank you again for having us on. It's always a pleasure to see two of my favorite people. And
same here.
We will hang again, and we will smoke a toke to our success in moving forward to saving the world.
And remember,
someday
you can't stay healthy if you don't eat.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah. Turns out you can gain weight if you don't eat.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing.
I was pretty sure I wasn't eating as much, but I stepped on a scale.
Possible. I don't want to let anyone do.
Oh, I'm getting so much good food. I am turning into a little piglet.
I know, it's easy to do, huh, man? I don't want to insult.
I can't sit down and eat a full meal. So I'm like a grazer, so I'll eat like a little bit, and then I'll warm it up a couple hours later. And all this nibbling, and then every one of my friends have brought me like, oh gosh, Chris Morwood made the most amazing toffee, and then Chris Bedrosian brought me chocolates, and just all these little yummies. And I'm going to be as wide as I am tall by the time this is over.
Well, that's good. I mean,
that is good. That's why they make extra large pizzas.
Yeah, you need to keep eating stuff.
Good for at least 4 meals and snacks and late night things. So yes, there are purposes.
One of the ways that you can actually use food to spot burnout in this field, if you're not taking time to stop and eat, if you're busy you get so busy in your day, oh, I skipped lunch, oh, I'm skipping dinner, I'll grab a snack later. That's the first big obvious sign of caregiver burnout.
Yeah. Not taking care of yourself first.
That's correct.
Like putting on your mask in the airplane.
Or driving in your car.
Exactly.
Like the when the masks fall out from the top, they tell you to, you know, if you're sitting with a child or somebody who's incapacitated, put on your mask first so you don't pass out, and then put on their masks.
Yeah. So are you seeing mainly people in the 40 to 55 age groups that are taking care of parents? Is the majority of the clients that you help, or would it be families with children with disabilities?
It's primarily, in the past, we've been working with folks with family members with disabilities. Since Elyse's joined and really helps to expand out, that's when we've extended out to the caregivers on the front line in the hospitals. But
Right.
Very much with disabilities and resources for folks who've got people at home who are dependent upon them.
Now, when you say resources, is that like getting hospital equipment or walkers or canes or what have you? Or is that just resources like information on other organizations?
Information on other organizations. We can help triage the situation. We're all obviously if you reach out to us through our Facebook group or our page on, we can certainly or through our website, we can connect you to resources. We're here if you just need to talk to somebody. If you just need a break from your situation, we might be able to help arrange some respite care for you.
Oh, that would be amazing. I know. I can't wait to go on there. I know one family that needs it right now. What have you done in the wake of COVID as far as going and working with people? Are you set with PPE and you have your hand sanitizers and all of that? And do you have enough to give to clients when you're going in?
At this time, so we do wear PPE when we go out in public. We are primarily jumping off to the hospitals, so they accept the food from us out through the emergency doors. We are not in the position of supply to be able to give that out to other folks at this time.
Right.
Yeah,
so we do make sure that we take care of ourselves.
I don't think we took the position of the masks, the glove, that kind of equipment need. That kind of would be a different lane. Like I gave up what we had when I had things in my kitchen. So I had boxes of some gloves and took them some hair, nets or whatever that they needed maybe that I had. It wasn't our focus.
Right.
And it's done through, most of the hospitals are accepting through the emergency only. So you're not really going into the hospital. I wear gloves and masks, and every third time I ask them to take my temperature just to make sure I'm still with it. And I don't really go past those front doors. I give them an explanation. I act like their mom. I make sure they're being fed, and are they doing the proper things to make sure this gets to the fridge and the freezer, and who's taking it, and how many people do you have eating? And, they've got 30 to 50 people on the 2 hospitals I'm at that are there on these long shifts. And I can't feed them all. I try. I wish I could, but that's part of why our plea for the commercial kitchen again, because it'd be easier to ramp it up. And I don't have my commercial kitchen any longer. So we know there's a lot of facilities out there that do have them that aren't even utilizing them. And that is another example of there's a contribution. You don't have to send me a money donation. Can we have a few hours, even if it's after hours of when you're using the kitchen? It would be helpful where we could ramp up and then put it in a cold storage freezer. So those are the kind of things where people go, oh, wow, can I help? I could cook. And it's like, you don't have to cook. A once in a while soup from you isn't as helpful if there's something you truly do that you would get more pleasure from doing on a more regular basis. Like I said, whether it's the marketing or it's the having the kitchen or hearing about the churches that might have some kitchens or schools or, Julie, things you've mentioned.
But not MIPS, right? You couldn't do it in a MIP.
Yeah, it's food.
No. I'm not. No. I'm going to go with a fat flipping no.
Yeah.
No,
So,
no.
No MIPS, but other kinds of commercial kitchens.
Fortunately, it would be a nice love and a very nice gesture, but there's other entities that would kind of go, not happening.
Right.
So I won't.
I'm just saying that because I think that the people who are going to see this are kind of more into would think about that. Like the people who I know who have commercial kitchens, it can't be a MIP. It could be a hemp facility.
Yes, or it could be. It's not that cannabis people can't be part of the community of this helping this. They're ones that need it the most. They are the caregiver burnout situation. So does it help them to drive something? Or, we have so many days we pick up at the farm the greens. Can you do it? You want and distribute them over to Susie Q, who's making soup, and this one is doing soup. But we also need someone to go get this or drop it off at someone's place. So it's all these things. You got a guy who really wants to jump in and has money, we'll take it. No questions about it, because it rolls this forward to pay rent in a building we could do some of these programs in. And that's, and then the farm's generating money. And so there are a whole bunch of spokes on this wheel that could definitely move it forward.
What kind of things?
I'm sure you need. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I said I'm sure you need other ingredients. You're not getting everything. You're needing stock and other things to go with it to make the soups.
Like exactly. How big of a mixer do you need? Like what kind of commercial kitchen are you looking at to scale it? Like a
standard commercial kitchen, so everybody's happy of where it's coming from, where there's a super, may I spell that SOUPER, right? Superintendent that will be supervising the kitchen. It's just about making quantity. I could make quantity and ramp it up in the house. It's bodies. It's a little bit of a combination of, I could feed in a lot of equipment. I need the bodies for someone to babysit, to say, okay, today we'll do and then we put that or whatever. So it's more of, I don't need any patting on my back. I've done the soups. I've made the soups. I've made the broths. I've made the veggies. I've done everything. I've paid it. I've delivered it. I've gone to grocery shop it. I've taken it to hospitals. I wish I could do more, but how much can I as the one person do? There's a limit. And
you know what, guys? It's 8:00. I'll be right back.
I think I'm howling right this second.
Oh, we're going to howl.
We need a howl break. What do you think? Come on up here. Do you want to howl too? Like you people. He says, yes, as a matter of fact,
my dog's
I'm
barking.
willing to howl. He's up. Like, you guys are crazy. He was asleep.
Go outside and howl at 8 p.m. That's a cool little thing that started in Denver.
That is really cool. Everybody in my neighborhood does it. On their Facebook post. I didn't think anything of it till you sent it to me. And then, they do it for different things. They howl for each other. They howl for somebody who's sick. They howl being sober through the COVID. And it's, being alone all day long, day after day after day, something to connect, like something as primal as howling at the end of the day. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I love it. It's cool. I don't do it every day, but good call. I'm glad you caught that.
Again, another way of us all being on a connect mode of, we really are one and the same. And if there's peace and enjoyment in finding that, let's all do this together, and everyone's like excited to wait for 8:00 to howl. There's just another piece of betterment, they're howling for this positive reason. It's freaking the flip out of the coyotes, but hey.
Yeah, I haven't heard coyotes in a long time.
Yeah, several neighborhood dogs are very displeased. But
my dog left
I think they love it.
Him at the fireworks that they immediately have to do that. He was like gone. He's already hit.
Yeah. Well, I think the neighbor with the fireworks have run out because I haven't heard it the past couple of nights. So let's hope.
Right, that they're goners. So
out of fireworks.
Elyse goes to goners. No, she just means that they're out of fireworks.
Yeah, right. I don't want it to turn into something loud and in trouble for. I would never do that.
No. I had a great idea the other day, like 2 days ago. The way to save the U.S. Postal Service is to make them the only organization allowed federally to ship THC-containing products across state lines.
I thought that was a good idea. Or even just hemp. Just like let them commit to one thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Do
If
it.
they can ship pharmaceuticals,
Yeah.
dangerous pharmaceuticals, I can get them in the mail all day long. I don't see why it couldn't be done.
And they could just have an official stamp that they, just do post office shit. But as long as you drop off weed and you go up to the post office and say, like you're in Colorado and you're like, yo, this is weed. I need a weed box for it. And it's like, it could be several pounds of weed. And you're like, here's my, whatever, here's my ID. They go, all right, where you want to send this? Be like, Kansas? And they say, no. I'm at Oklahoma. And they'd say, all right, we'll ship it to Oklahoma. And
Yeah.
and they
Let
could,
me know
I mean,
if
they
that
could be
happens.
doing the bulk ship, and they could ship out individual, like you could buy maybe not a vape pen, but you could buy like a joint, like Wilfred, Jason Gann from Wilfred.
Yeah.
He has Wilfred Cannabis in California, and it's an awesome brand, and he sells pre-rolls that look, I think they're like cigarette looking pre-rolls. It's like, feel the freedom of Wilfred, the freedom of you and me. I would love to buy some Wilfred joints, but I can't get them to Colorado legally. But if the U.S. Postal Service would take that order from Wilfred, from Jason Gann, and get me some Wilfred brand joints to my legal state house, that could save them right there. They could have a total monopoly on it and have a totally justifiable reason. And plus, we all ship via USPS anyway.
That's because right now it's USPOS, but it goes. But that would be. I think they should just have a private service. Then they could just like have those same rules going on all the time, like we follow. So it's just like, it goes in this box. Here's how it goes.
Yeah.
Let's not overtax them. Let's just start with him and let them just figure out how easily that could be shipped instead of cherry picking the amount of packages they feel necessary to stop and confiscate, especially when it was okay to mail it.
I'm sure there's safety protocols in coming out of the pharmaceuticals, that has to be done. Those come straight from the factory, and I'm sure they have certain barcodes of safety, and they're identified all the way through the system.
Yeah, you could totally do that. The U.S. Postal Service could definitely do that. Put a little QR code on there, scan it, just
100%.
And then just allow us to ship any amount of THC that we want by following their rules across state lines. Yeah. And have them get it there, and you won't get pulled over in Pawhuska, Oklahoma for having an 18-wheeler full of legal hemp or anything. Just make it, that's the backdoor way that I think that you can make the federal government give up a little bit more to us. Because it's...
Well, I think you're right on. Let's do it. Where we need to be. It should just happen. I mean, we're fighting, we're still swimming uphill with the salmon.
Yeah.
So I think we just keep on fighting it, and there will be changes in every way. Things are going to change, and cannabis needs more research. That's what we would help forward is for them to get on the education train. And that, again, that's one of the things that's on my plate, is to educate the masses of, I wouldn't say ignorance, but I'll say ignorance. So, say it from intelligence if you want to say no, but don't say no from stupid. And there's a lot of learning, and I'm still learning every day. And, according to people, I don't really have much stake in the game, but I think I have a lot of stake in the game, and I think I've helped the industry make changes that are there, and I want to continue to do that too, because there's a lot to be said for plant medicine, and I don't know, I still think it's the healthiest medicine that people have had, and it was certainly there before there were chemical medicines. And so it's about returning to our roots, no pun intended, but I think that's where we're headed. And not that I'm saying this for a friend that probably did drugs in high school and college. So coming from a friend, it's amazing how all those things paid off today. And they're good for you. And maybe we knew more than we thought we knew. So I'm proud to say I'm pretty healthy. So I'm sure I will continue to take those steps and educate people to understand there's more to life than a chemical trail.
A chemical trail.
So start writing me letters and making comments on my Facebook page. So I'm not going to go
Did you get in
any
trouble for talking about chemtrails?
Yes, from a different background.
Really?
From a different life trail. I mean, lifetime.
Oh.
You know, Freudian slip.
That's
So
awesome.
there's good things out there. We have to embrace them. And I think they're finding a lot of ways to microdose a lot of things that are going to be better for people. Don't you, Eli?
Absolutely. One of the biggest ways that people can keep themselves healthy right now, get your stress levels down. And plant medicine goes a long way in helping keep your stress levels down. So,
it really does, because, recently the neurologist wanted to put me on a depression medicine because I should be depressed, but I argue I don't think I needed it. But if you read the warning labels on some of these antidepressants, they're more dangerous than the actual issue. They have side effects that actually will make you suicidal. They have, if it doesn't destroy your liver in the meantime.
I saw a Chantix commercial today. It's the first time
Did you?
Yeah, I've tried to not watch a lot of TV because the news is just.
I think about you every time I see a Chantix commercial.
I saw the slow turkey. I love the slow turkey. I'm sorry, I used to work for a drug company. I think that's one of the best. It's way better than Ray Liotta. Somebody check on Ray Liotta, by the way, because he was taking Chantix and then haven't seen or heard a thing about him. So I hope that he didn't have the kind of nightmares that I had on Chantix, because it sucked. And it was kind of interesting, too. Chantix is like DMT, except everything is bad.
Is Elyse muted?
No.
Oh.
She's pantomiming.
Yeah. No, I was having side banter.
Oh.
I was getting rogue without publicly roguing it.
I don't even know what that means.
So come on, Rogue.
Oh, I know. It's just like, how do you get in so much trouble when you haven't even left your house? That's what I'm just wanting to know. But that's okay. So, but I'm just glad we're all here together, being virtual.
Together apart.
Right.
In these uncertain and uncertain and strenuous times, at least we're together apart.
Exactly.
We're spending $10 million on this ad campaign to tell you how much we are caring about our workers.
Right.
Get back to packing meat. Buy Target stuff. Go to hell, small business. I'm concerned about it.
Very concerned about small businesses.
Yes. I mean, it's
hard enough to be a small business in the best of times.
Yeah.
So every day that ticks by.
Anything in the cannabis world, they don't qualify. And in the CBD world, I know I've spoken with 6 different companies this week, small businesses, CBD, hemp, and they're getting, just absolutely stonewalled from the SBA.
Yeah.
But yet, if you're Ruth Chris or one of the big companies, then you can get millions.
We need to start a list of all of the people who did dickhead stuff during the quarantine. Like those senators, all those senators who sold their stock. Like, I don't know their names. I need to write down their names and start saying their names every time that I have the opportunity. Those senators, Bruce Chris, Steak and Shake.
Dead people list. I kind of started one this morning. I'm almost up to 481, but if you want to fill in the last 9, be my guest. Sorry, I'm being flippant.
Forgive for going late.
You've now caught me in my prime hour. See, I go best from 8 to 2. So.
That's mostly when I've seen you.
I know. You know, walking the streets again. Hey, next I'll be called a hooker.
Well, you dress well. You dress like one half the time. I wish I could have said that on time.
Well, and then my drum roll was late.
What?
And then my drum roll was late.
Oh, yeah. Stupid technology.
Really. Well, this was a pleasure, and I appreciate the time and pleasure of being here with you guys.
Well, we appreciate having you on. You got to tell us your URLs again.
Thank you.
All of the any information that you want to give people about how to contact you, then lay all that out and just go through that again, please.
Okay, I'll say it once, and then I'll have Eli repeat all of it, because I'm just right to the bullet point, which is simply for me. If you go to rescuesoup.net, most of your questions could be answered right there, and it will give you a directive if you'd like to donate money. It does accept through PayPal those kind of donations, and it gives you a way to contact us if you would like to do other things, if that's not where you can contribute, because there are, as we said, a whole bunch of other ways you can. And thank you. We appreciate it in advance. Yeah.
And Eli, it's whiskey dot what? Or
it's whiskey.org.
ZWISKI.org.
SKI. Yep. People can find Rescue Soup at rescuesoup.whiskey.org. They can email volunteer@rescuesoup.net.
Okay.
And if you want to reach out, so go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to just repeat that because your audio is not so. I know that I haven't listened to this yet, listened to it back, but your audio is sketchier than mine. So I was going to say that they can email volunteer@rescuesoup.net.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good. Do you know any jokes? Any of you? Do any of you know any jokes after all of this time in lockdown? Do you know any jokes?
Oh my gosh, that's like such an unfair quick, because my retention level on jokes is super small, because I joke. I'm right on the fly. I don't do jokes, but let me think of one. I got dirty ones.
Eli, what you got?
What you got,
What's worse than ants in your pants?
I don't know. What is worse than ants in your pants?
Uncles.
Wait, what?
Uncles.
Yeah. Yeah. Good work. Good work. That's awesome. Dude, Eli, I got to tell you, you're one of the very few people who's had a joke out of hundreds of people who we've talked to. Yeah, you're one of the very first people to have a joke just right there, ready to go.
I just was trying to figure out how to say it politely, but if it doesn't need to be, I can just lay it out there.
Yeah.
And this guy goes into a barn. Up on the bar, he sees the menu, and it says cheeseburgers $8, a shake $5, and a hand job $4. So the guy says, "Excuse me, honey, could you come on over here and tell me about this menu? Who's doing the $4 blowjob?" or the hand job? What's going on here? And she says, well, I'm doing it for $4. He goes, good, wash your hands and get me a cheeseburger. Okay, sorry. It's the only one I could remember on the fly.
So it cost him $12.
All right, there you go. Get the whole thing. Wash your hands, get me a cheeseburger.
$12. That's beautiful.
$12, $12, $12, or $4, $1 million. Have a Caesar's pizza.
Yeah. I wish I could come party with you right now, but someday.
Well, I can't disclaimer my quarantine-ness here, but I am the quarantine. Right here, I'm like super quarantine control, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, Eli?
She is.
Right. Yeah. You just drop everything at the doorstep, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
So, and I'll bring your clean parts.
Cool. Well, thank you, Julie, for
happens soon.
No problem.
Thank you.
And we're going to do this next week too, right? You want to make this?
We'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It took you doing this and you taking the initiative to actually make us do something that I was talking about 3 weeks ago. Like, time's just flying by, but next Wednesday, 7:00, we're going to do this again.
Right.
And
if anybody out there wants to be interviewed, and reach out to me, and I will set it up.
There you go.
Right. In that motion, you should definitely do it, and Travis will give you a nice place to be on Wednesday night.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I've
Julie.
From time to time during this quarantine, I've been pretty motivated to do stuff, and then from other times, I've just not. Like my.
Right. It's called highs and lows.
Called what? Highs and lows? Yeah. It's been generally kind of low. Not sad,
right.
Just.
Okay, so we'll meet you at the Conoco station, 6 feet apart, and hand off a soup.
Yeah, throw them to each other.
Mm-hmm. With, maybe joint taped to the lid or something.
Awesome. Eli, it was wonderful talking to you. I don't know if I've ever talked to you before, but we're Facebook friends, I saw. And
it's nice to talk with you as well.
All right, and I hope you'll talk again.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's keep talking. And
absolutely.
Cool.
Love you.
Well, thank you. Thanks everybody for being on, and thank you everybody for joining. And as always, I'm Travis Lippert reminding you, if you don't get hemp here, get hemp somewhere.
All right.
Bye.